All right, let's get over to Mike Eppel now. We're talking about the consideration government of a tax cut in the fiscal update coming this fall. Mike, good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning, Melanie. This is in the Globe and Mail this morning ahead of the federal Liberals caucus retreat, which is happening in Saskatoon over the next couple of days. And Federal Finance Minister Bill Morneau, going into that, was asked, hey, would you consider cutting Canadian taxes after what the U.S. did to start the year? And he's basically saying nothing is being ruled out at this point in time because Canada has to do something to maintain its competitiveness level after the U.S. cut its personal and corporate tax rates quite aggressively. And a study by PwC, PricewaterhouseCoopers, this morning says those tax cuts in the United States could lead a lot of investment money away from Canada to the U.S. for a more attractive investment climate, because they say we could lose upwards of 600,000 jobs and a cut to the GDP as those tax cuts, again, lure more investment cash away. So it'll be interesting to hear if the federal finance minister and the fall fiscal update later this year includes some sort of tax reduction. More indications Canada is going to have to give up something on the NAFTA file to get a deal done. They had more talks yesterday and continuing negotiations to some extent behind closed doors over the next little while, even though the top negotiators are not in the room. But Globe's reporting this morning that the dairy file is still up for negotiation, and Canada might have to give up some access from U.S. dairy producers into the Canadian supply management system, which has been something that has still been no-go according to public comments coming from the federal government. But again, got to give something to get something, and that might be definitely on the table. The Toronto stock market coming off its first positive showing for September. It was up a little bit yesterday, but the Dow surged 113 points, led by Apple, and a 2.5% rally ahead of the company's grand reveal coming up today on its next-generation iPhone, among other things. We also did see an up move for oil prices yesterday after languishing lower. The Canadian crude price continues to be much lower than that of the U.S. because of pipeline constraints. And the cryptocurrency crash, the decline of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin, now said to be larger than the bursting of the dot-com bubble. An index that tracks cryptocurrencies is now down 80% from the peak that was reached just over 9 months ago, and that exceeds the dot-com bubble bursting, which was a drop of 78% peak to trough back in the late 90s and year 2000. So, Roger, what goes up sometimes comes down very quickly. It'll be interesting to see what Apple has to say today, because their stock price certainly is very elevated, with the company now worth more than $1 trillion.
Yeah,